forward and take a sip.
You're live now, so this is
Oh, I'm live? Or I'm just the camera's rolling? So, our first video.
I have no idea what we're doing. We've never done any YouTube before, but long story short, my name's Dan,
I'm Jenny.
and we're about to do something incredibly stupid. At least according to what the rest of the world wants to do. Everybody seeks comfort. There's a couple of channels on YouTube that I've been watching recently, like Yes Theory and Casey Neistat. It's really interesting. We've decided to give up a very comfortable life in the suburbs for the betterment of our kids. The world we live in is drastically changing. Everything's processed. Everything's unnatural. Nobody knows how to fend for themselves.
Kids know that food comes from the grocery store and they don't understand where the food is on the farm, in the vegetable garden, if you eat meat, the animals.
We sound incredibly stupid doing this. But we want to give our kids a life that is a little bit more free of boundaries. The house will show you in this video. It's really interesting. We live what people would consider to be a very comfortable life. I work in the business world. I'm fortunate for my wife to be able to stay home and watch the kids full time. But it's a life that's not as rewarding as everybody would think it is. So we sold it. We sold this house. We'll walk you around and we'll show you a little bit about what we've done. There's no more reason to have this massive suburban mansion.
And the restrictions that it comes with.
Mm-hmm. And so we decided to swap it in. We bought 50 acres east of a little town in Charlotte, North Carolina. And on that 50 acres, there's a house that was built in 1922. It's not livable. And so what we wanted to do is
Well, it is livable. No insulation, everything's outdated.
No air conditioning, none of that stuff. So what we're doing is, this is our story that we're going to tell. It's going to be the adventures of our family, not knowing anything whatsoever, other than having done a few renovation projects in the past on previous houses that we owned.
And square foot gardening in our last home, which was also in the suburbs.
Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you how two people who know absolutely nothing work together as a community with help from everybody else that we can get a hold of, our families included, and build something that we think is worthwhile, so that someday our kids have skills that just aren't taught anymore. How to garden, how to water, how to provide for yourself, what is chopping wood and heating a home. So a lot of things coming, very interesting story up ahead, I think. And what we want to do is share this story from two perspectives. I want to share it from my perspective as the dad who's still really split between two worlds. You gotta work to get everything done, and then you gotta come home on the weekends and put everything together. So my goal is to show you how everything works from my perspective of not knowing anything. I'm going to publish all of the stats on what everything costs. We're going to give you footage of how things are renovated, brought up to snuff, how we're doing the gardening, all those sorts of things, so that if you wanted to do this one day, you could get a really good sense of that. And Jenny?
Mine will be primarily from the stay-at-home mom, caregiver side of it. We currently have 4 children, and our son has food allergies, so part of wanting to get back to the more natural lifestyle is to help manage those. And we also have another child who has some food sensitivities, possible allergies going on. So we've got that. We are currently homeschooling, so it's a lot. And you guys will be seeing how some of my day-to-day challenges go, and then as I work with Dan and with the kids on starting up the farm. So it'll be exciting.
It will be. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk you through the house. We're going to show you a little bit of the life that we live now, and then over the next few videos, we'll introduce you to the methodologies that we started taking to move from suburban city lifestyle, where we're super comfortable right next to everything, into this life where we have nothing built. I mean, we've got, we decided to put a mobile modular home right next to the 20,000 square foot house. No.
2,800.
So yeah, we decided to put a mobile modular home next to the farmhouse that hasn't been renovated since probably the late 50s or 60s, and really show the story of how all that goes.
We're downsizing from. We're basically going down to 25% for our living space while we're doing this renovation. We will have some things in storage that we want to be able to use, or we want in the farmhouse, but we will be living a much smaller, more minimalistic lifestyle.
Which is quite trendy on YouTube these days, from what I've seen all the tiny house garbage that everybody keeps doing. Probably shouldn't say garbage. All the tiny house stuff that everybody's been doing on there. We're really living that with no preparation whatsoever. So there's some really cool things that are going on right now. We intend to do some livestock. We intend to do some big projects on the house. We intend to, when we bought the property, there's old cars that are buried in the woods. And from Jenny's side of it, I think the story could be told such an interesting way as a mom who's raising a family that many people would desire to do, and we look forward to sharing all of that with you. This is really weird.
It is so good.
I don't know if this is gonna work out, but we gotta have personality, and you have to make sure that it's interesting for the audience. I feel like we're doing a performance. I really don't think we need to be doing performances. I think it just needs to.
Well, this is our intro.
Yep.
Anyways, so that's about us. And
Well, the nice thing about film is you can cut whatever you want out of it. So I can break this up and reorder it and do all sorts of things.
That's about us, and you will soon get to hear the story of our next steps as we close on this big HOA home and move to the country.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest for ideas. We really want to use those as communities for people to give us their input. And I think at some point, once we get out there, we'll probably start a Patreon, but not at this point in time. We just want to make sure that we're able to tell the first parts of the story before we invite you to come along and help us build that dream. So I'm Dan.
I'm Jenny.
Look forward to seeing you next time.